Timta. Abdur Kul Shayuat Biwah Samus Shilpa Timta. Anuki Maku Nubu Yunat Sagar. Maku Shil Atsekata Am Shil Yamasi Nuwabianat. Wahaza Kalun Pa Bi Utspu Kalum Arbedin Sabed. Greetings. Begin all things by first using the all. I am Chief Nanya Shaabu Eil of the Atsikata Nation of Yamasee Moors, and this is Weekly Word 47. We've been waiting a long time for this Weekly Word 47. As you can see here on the screen, this is a Google search. Now, the numbers are saying 89 million, and that's not really true. The numbers have actually been closer to 267 million. And we know it's even higher than that. So we know Google is playing, of course, with the numbers. So all anyone has to do is put that in there, and they're going to see those numbers and see this weekly word come up. So for weekly address number 47, and this is weekly word 47. So what I want to do is I want to go back here.
Questions. All right. How many stars on the American flag?
Shit, we got 13 colonies, so 13 minus 50. 13 minus 50, goddamn, 47.
Now, a lot of people were laughing and, joking around, or what they call janksing on the sister for that. However, when you look into the number 47, you're going to find something interesting. We go on Wikipedia. 47 is the natural number following 46 and preceding 48. In mathematics, 47 is the 15th prime number, a safe prime, the 13th super singular prime, and the 6th Lucas prime. 47 is a highly cototient number. It is an Einstein prime with no imaginary part and real part of the form 3n-1. It is a Lucas number because its digits appear as successive terms earlier in the series of Lucas numbers: 2, 1, 3, 4, 7, 11, 18, 29, 47. It is also a Keith number. 47 is a strictly non-palindromic number. Its representation in binary being 0010 1111. 47 is a prime Thabit number, and as such is related to the pair of amicable numbers 17296 and 18416. 47 is a Carroll number. In science, it is the atomic number of silver. 47 is the atomic mass of one of the naturally occurring stable isotopes of titanium. The 47-year cycle of Mars, after 47 years, 22 synodic periods of 780 days each, Mars returns to the same position among the stars and is in the same relationship to the Earth and Sun. The ancient Mesopotamians discovered this cycle. So when we go to this other website, the 47 website, we're going to have all the links here in the bottom. 47 is the most commonly occurring two-digit random number. The proof is in the extraordinary number of times the number 47 occurs in factoids. This website is dedicated to the number 47. The factoids that follow are true. These are not made up. So I'm just going to pick out some random ones that were very noticeable. Pitcairn Island is 47 square miles in area and has a present population of 47. Rich adds, as I looked into it further, the estimates of population seem to range a bit and depend on who you consider a valid resident to count. Some of the estimates include temporary social workers, etc., presently stationed on the island. Some only include bounty descendants, etc. So it's possibly that a population of 47 is not accurate depending on your point of view. The length of a pit stop service area in the Indianapolis Speedway is 47 feet long. The Geneva Convention protecting prisoners of war was originally signed by 47 nations. The world's first inflatable wedding chapel is 47 feet high. The Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus train is on the road 47 weeks of every year. Let's see. In Monsters, Inc., the factory floor was 47 days without incident before a monster came back with a kid's sock on his fur. The first space shuttle flight after the Challenger disaster was STS-47. The exit door on a Boeing 737-300 weighs 47 pounds. This in itself isn't that significant of a fact, but think about it this way. According to the commercial jet aircraft census, the Boeing 737-300 is the most common operational jet airliner after the MD-80, 1100 versus 1150. The 300 shares, the 300 shares many parts with the 400 and 500, with the family of which numbers 1966 in service. A large share of the Boeing 3696 flying 737s. When this means in order to get the maximum chance of survival on an airliner, you must be able to lift 47 pounds. When President Clinton left office, 47 presidential pardons were not reviewed by the Justice Department. Saddam Hussein had 47 presidential bunkers. O.J. Simpson was allowed 47 names on his visitor list while on trial. According to Ptolemy, there are 47 constellations. So it's always interesting that these are very interesting notes, and that would explain what everybody really gravitated toward the sister saying, God damn 47. And our weekly address when we do our Now Time webinars on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, every Tuesday on GoToMeeting, it's 47 is the one I tell people. I said that's the best one to explain why you need to do the SF-181. Now we're going to go to this week's weekly word. This is Young Pharaoh versus Tommy Sotomayor. Now what's interesting about this is Tommy Sotomayor years ago was asking for Moors to contact him and he would put them on and interview them. And I contacted Tommy Sotomayor and he never responded. The screenshots are on Facebook. He never responded, he never contacted, nothing. Because he didn't like the way, I think there was a situation at the time of how he was treated, or an interview he was doing with how someone was treated. So I said, sure, I'll go on. At the time he seemed like, yeah, he was aware, and then he got on some different type of platform. Apparently him and Young Pharaoh hooked up and decided to have this online debate. Now, I had gotten this from a brother by the name of Enki Ta on Facebook, and which was interesting that he sent this to me. He said, Tommy Sotomayor, you will watch it here, calls himself white, and Young Pharaoh says nothing. This is more evidence and proof that the so-called black conscious community are a bunch of scared Negroes that are afraid, they are afraid of freedom. So we're going to watch this here.
Identify with yourself as an African man.
Nope.
Will you identify yourself with that?
Okay, and this is where you messed up, Young Pharaoh, because you asked him, you know, what do you identify yourself as? So I'm going to pull it back and play it again.
And said, when we dealing with, let me look at my notes, because I got something I want to say. Okay, when we say docile animals, and I want to clear this up, because I'm not saying black women don't come into their consciousness. Probably about 5 minutes ago in this segment, there are some black women who come into their consciousness. The problem is we ran by a patrilineal system, because this is what I want to say. Your viewpoint on black women is the same exact viewpoint that racist ass slave masters not only had on black women, they had it on you. So now, when we dealing with, like, first I want to ask you, this is a yes or no question, because I don't know what you identify yourself as. Do you identify with yourself as an African man?
Okay, I don't know what you identify yourself as. So why would you even ask? Now this is 46 minutes and 28 seconds into this 2-hour and 7-minute debate. So it took you 46 minutes to ask him, I don't know what you identify yourself with. You should have asked that at the beginning. You waited 46 minutes, nearly an hour of Gregorian time, to ask him this. Do you identify yourself as African? Now, you're going to see further on of what or if young Pharaoh calls himself?
Nope.
Will you identify yourself with that?
I am a black American.
Are you serious right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay, black American. Tommy calls himself a black American. Now, when we go to the definition, because later on Tommy Sotomayor talks about going to college. Definition of black, a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. And we all know there are none. So that's the end of that lie. There are no black racial groups of Africa. White is a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. Again, we stress this, that this is the U.S. Department of Education is the one that is endorsing this. Further on, there's a Crow, which is in Washington. They are global. It says here, advancing global higher education. So this is part of global higher education that all these scholars and these educations, PhDs, etc., they are familiar and are in compliance with this, and they have the same definitions here. So black is not a person, and it's not even a people. Furthermore, oh yes, we can't forget this one here. This is where Barack Obama says black has no standing at law. And we're going to see the picture right here. Barack Obama says black has no standing at law. President Obama replies, Tom, I don't look at myself as the first black president because the word black has no standing at law. So he knew this fact, Tom Joyner, and I guess this is Sybil here on the left here. They all know you all are not black, but they're not going to tell you the truth. And we've been doing these weekly words and addresses for quite some time, and nobody from Tom Joyner's camp has said anything. So unless President Barack Obama wrote an executive order telling him to keep that tape hidden, that would be the only reason.
That makes sense.
That why he did that, because Barack flubbed and shouldn't have said that. They said, no, pull that back. You can't release that. So if that's the case that, you know, Tom Joyner is under threat, I understand that. So we're taking the pressure off you. And Barack is the one that said it. Okay, so let's go back to the video now.
What the fuck is a black American?
It's a person that is an American and that is of melanated, high melanation.
Okay, let's go back again. Black or African American, a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. When we go up to the iPads, right, this is in tandem with the National Center for Education Statistics. Definitions for new race and ethnicity categories. It says the categories do not denote scientific definitions of anthropological origins. These guys are talking about anthropology and history. The U.S. is a federal corporation. As such, that means what? They're talking about business. They're not talking about history, anthropology, or biology.
Okay, I got a question for you. Do you
So notice Tommy Sotomayor said melanation. Remember that.
believe that your bloodline is older than America?
Oh, yes, but I don't claim
So that means America has not been a corporation, because it's not a land. Because you're named after land. You're not named after a business. Nobody who works at McDonald's calls themselves the McDonald'sians. They doesn't do that. They don't do that. So, with that being said,
Hold on. Let's do a Rick James here.
niggas fight dogs. Do you know the feds?
high melanation.
Okay, I got a question for you. Do you believe that your bloodline is older than America?
Oh, yes, but I don't claim
So that means America has not been a corporation, because it's not a land.
Uh-oh. I knew I heard something. America is not a corporation. It's not a land.
Because you're named after land. You're not named after a business.
Oh, no, young Pharaoh. You're named after a corporation. It's called SSN, Registration of Live Birth. United States of America, the definition of America was the copper-colored races. However, We're not dealing in organic. That all ended in 33 and was sealed in 1938 in the Erie Tompkins versus Pennsylvania case. Everything is administrative. It isn't constitutional.
Somebody who works at McDonald's calls themselves the McDonald'sians. They doesn't do that. They don't do that. So with that being said, how do you conceive yourself as a black American when there's no such thing as America? America is
okay. How do you conceive yourself as a black American? Conceive deals with birth, does it not? So how do you manifest yourself as a black American? And these are, you got to pay very close attention to the syntax, everyone. He keeps saying America. He's not saying United States or United States of America. So he needs to be precise about that, because I'm listening to his syntax. I'm listening to his syntax. So it's clear he's deliberately avoiding saying United States for a reason.
Is the name of a corporation, not a land. So even when we're dealing with you, you have an incorrect psychological state on who you are. Now I say that to say this. You consider yourself a black American, but genetically, you're an African. You're not as...
Okay, now he's going to say genetically African. Africa, young Pharaoh, comes from the Arabic word faraka, Ifriqiya, which means to separate. So that's not even the original name of the land.
Escaping that.
Okay.
So I want
to... Can I give you a counter to that? The people who run this corporation of America, white people.
Okay, see how they keep saying this corporation, America. They're not saying United States, because if they do that, it's a confession the Dred Scott decision is correct. They're actually shooting themselves in the foot by even saying that, because Justice Taney said no descendant of Africans, and see how young Pharaoh turned around and said, you're African. But Dred Scott said no descendant of Africans, because he went into your blood. That's what young Pharaoh did. No descendant of Africans can be a citizen of the United States of America. So if he's going to say America and you're supposed to be conscious, you're leaving off United States. The Constitution for the United States of America, not the Constitution of. And that Constitution is void, and it is a dead document. So you can see they keep wanting to stay away from saying the United States. It is defined in Title 28 U.S.C. Section 3002, Paragraph 15, as a federal corporation.
crackers.
Right. They refer to themselves as American. They don't refer to themselves as European.
No, they don't.
No, they do not.
No, they. What you want to bet? White people do not. No, they do. The
Come
people
on, yes, they do.
Listen.
I'm talking about the white people like me. I don't run.
Okay. Everybody see that? This is why we do these weekly words, to show you people that are watching. There's a group of you that will take this further and go take this video to Tommy and to young Pharaoh and say, what's going on here? That was not a Freudian slip. That was deliberate. He said white like me. Now, if we take what young Pharaoh said, and he said you're African, then young Pharaoh should be saying, Tommy, you're white, because white is defined by the National Center for Education Statistics as a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. Tommy Sotomayor just admitted he must know about the SF-181. He must know that he's not black. Well, he definitely will know, because he said he's a black American. So now he contradicted himself. Now he's saying white like me. So this tells me these are actors.
Yeah.
I am welcome to hear from him or young Pharaoh to explain this, and we won't be doing this privately. This will be live. You explain. Tommy called himself and said he's a black American, then he says he's white. Rachel Dolezal looks like she would be quote unquote white and says she identifies as black because black means to make pale.
Shit.
Now I'm telling you now.
And so let me just back that up so everyone can hear that.
Conceive yourself as a black American when there's no such thing as America. America is the name of a corporation, not a land. So even when we're dealing with you, you have an incorrect psychological state on who you are. Now I say that to say this. You consider yourself a black American, but genetically, you're an African. You're not escaping that.
Okay.
So I want
to. Can I give you a counter to that? The people who run this corporation of America, white people,
crackers.
right? They refer to themselves as American. They don't refer to themselves as European.
No, they don't.
No, they do not.
No, they. What you want to bet? White people do not. No, they do. The
Come
people
on,
who
yes, they do.
Listen.
I'm talking about the white people like me. I don't run shit.
Now I'm telling you now, because Tom, you stepping into my world now. Now you fucking up. The elites who run this country.
I just told you, I'm not talking about the elites. I said the people like me, because we got me and you on our level. The people that get arrested when we fuck up. The people that walk out and vote and believe that voting is doing something. The people who sit on YouTube like you and me, regular motherfuckers. Because tomorrow everything I got can be taken away from me. I'm a throw away from being on Skid Row. That's a fact. So that being said, I'm talking about other white people like me, because you asked me. So on my level.
Okay, you heard it. Let's play it again. Let's play it, that little section there again. Notice how the volume went down.
In high melanation.
Okay, I got a question for you. Do you believe that your bloodline is older than America?
Oh yes, but I don't claim
so that means America has not been a corporation, because it's not a land. Because you're named after land. You're not named after a business. Nobody who works at McDonald's calls themselves the McDonald'sians. They doesn't do that. They don't do that. So with that being said, how do you conceive yourself as a black American when there's no such thing as America? America is the name of a corporation, not a.
No, United States is the name of the corporation, young Pharaoh. Get it right.
Land. So even when we're dealing with you have an incorrect psychological state on who you are. Now I say that to say this. You consider yourself a black American, but genetically, you're an.
Okay, he said he's a black American first. Young Pharaoh confirmed that, and young Pharaoh saying, no, you're an African.
African. You're not escaping that.
Okay.
So I want
Can I give you a counter to that? The people who run this corporation of America, white people,
crackers,
right? They refer to themselves as American. They don't refer to themselves as European.
No, they don't.
No, they do not.
No, they. What you want to bet? White people do not. No, they do. The
Come on, yes, they do.
Listen.
I'm talking about the white people like me. I don't run shit.
Now I'm telling you now, because Tom, you stepping into my world now. Now you fucking up. The elites who run this country.
I just told you, I'm not talking about the elites. I said the people like me, because we got me and you on our level. The people that get arrested when we fuck up. The people that walk out and vote and believe that voting is doing something. The people who sit on YouTube like you and me, regular motherfuckers. Because tomorrow everything I got can be taken away from me. I'm a throw away from being on Skid Row. That's a fact. So that being said, I'm talking about other white people like me, because you asked me.
Twice.
So on my level, they must be brainwashed too, because they refer to themselves as American.
They are brainwashed. White people brainwashed. Listen, let me tell you how white supremacy works before I get back in your ass about this black woman. Now, white people set up a caste system to brainwash other white people in order to do their bidding. That's the whole point of the elites. The elites ain't no goddamn such thing as no fucking America. White people know it ain't no goddamn such thing as no goddamn America. That's all the lie. It's called the veil. It's called the American dream. It's some shit that don't fucking exist. This is land that is indigenous to what you would consider an African person. If somebody wants to...
Okay, so why won't you say Turtle Island, Sulhafat Jazur? Well, I know you can't say that, young Pharaoh. Why won't you say Turtle Island, Atlan, Mulan? You saying the land. You're being vague. You're not being vivid. You're being vague. You are not being vivid. And when you say corporation, it's the United States. America, it was just the definition of the Aborigines, as they would say, that were here first. So stop playing these games and start calling the land areas what they originally were on Turtle Island.
To say, well, the word African, it didn't exist, bitch, but we identifying with ourselves today as this word. This land belonged to indigenous, melanated people of African descent.
So what is the name of the landmass, young Pharaoh? Because he keeps saying, again, that is vague, obscure. This land, well, it must have a name. It has to have some way to describe it. This land.
The parasitic Caucasian race brought their nasty, trifling asses over here on them nasty-ass boats with them nasty-ass animals and wiped everybody off with their nasty-ass zoonotic diseases, and then claimed our land and raped and pillaged our women, turned them into Italians today who think that they're the Indians who also claim stake to a land that's not theirs either. So that being said, while all that was happening, once it was done, they named it America. And now you, who was there at the beginning and all this happened to, identify with yourself as the motherfucker who took the land from you in the first place.
Let me ask you, how does war work? Since man was crawling around, whatever you believe, how man started.
Cracker was crawling. Niggas was never crawling.
How does war work? Because last I checked, every land at some point factioned with another land, and that one that lost became the spoil of the other one.
That's not true.
No,
that's not true.
Okay, so young Pharaoh needs to do some proper research. War is controlled and operated by banks. Rothschilds is the source of the problem. They like war. War creates constant ebb and flow from their perspective. But when you look at all the major wars that ever happened, the banks were behind it. That's it. Bottom line, that's the source of the problem. We're going to continue on.
That's cracker way of life. See, when you're dealing with, this is why I came to this point, because I was going to bring this up. Do you know the original system of African people? The original living system? Was it matrilineal or was it patrilineal?
Apparently, you're going to tell me it was of the woman, not of the man.
That's exactly what I'm going to tell you.
All
I'm
right.
going to explain why. Now, the reason I say that is because under a matrilineal system, right? First, let me tell you why before I tell you what we did, our achievements. Do you understand that you are a female physically? Do you understand that? Do you understand that you're an XY chromosome? It's time for some science now. The black woman is an XX chromosome. Now, when you go to science and you deal with the XY chromosome, you got the big X and the small Y. Now, the Y is small because the Y is actually the X chromosome minus 2.8% of its own genetic mass. So this is why you, as a black man, don't use 100% of your bodily function. This is why you have nipples and you never use them. This is why you have to get circumcised when you come out of the womb, because the skin on your penile shaft would have actually been the skin of your vaginal wall had you stayed a woman. So all children, whether they men or females, start off as females for the first 5 months of pregnancy.
I knew this.
Right. So with that being said, we lived according to a matrilineal system because we understand as genetic organisms, the black woman was the first prokaryotic cell to manifest into humanoid form to walk this planet. Now, why is this important? Not that black men were weak. We were the protectors of our queens. Now, why am I saying this? It was underneath the patrilineal mentality that we built the greatest civilizations on this planet that are known as world wonders today. Egypt is just one of them. Let's not get caught on Egypt. Now, hold on, let me prove my point. Patrilineal mentality, a man-first mentality, a degrading the woman mentality is a caveman mentality. You cannot go to no ancient African civilizations and see no depictions of no black man beating no black woman, degrading no black woman. You see all kind of cave paintings of motherfucking caveman run upside that damn cave beast head with the mallet. Even the white man show you. He run upside the cave woman head with the mallet. Hold on. So, when we dealing with a negative psychological standpoint on our black woman, you have adopted that solely from the European. There is no getting around that. We have never degraded our women in such a way that you do until we were psychologically influenced by the caveman beast himself. So, we can make up excuses like you showed the picture of that black woman earlier and she said you helped her go natural. I'm not denying that you helped her go natural. You know why? Because different strokes work for different folks. There might be a certain group of people who you would help in some sick way better themselves. But guess what? Some people like to get tied the fuck up and they like dominatrix and they like to get beat and whipped. Just because they like it don't mean it's right. Just because candy tastes good. Hold on, I'm not playing. I'm not finished.
No, I'm doing all this for a reason. Watch it.
Because candy tastes good don't mean it's healthy. Just because the goddamn fruit snacks taste like strawberries don't mean they goddamn strawberries. So what I'm saying is the excuse that sometimes your method works will never make it correct. What you do and what you say to black women is diabolical when it comes to the upliftment of your own race. Even if we're not dealing with national philosophy, we're dealing with genetic connection. You are genetically connected to the same woman you're destroying. And what you have to understand is psychologically and emotionally, all her experiences are being stored in her DNA. So all of the degrading and negative feelings that you're manifesting within her, you are indirectly and ignorantly causing her to pass down into the child that she's going to bear one day, post experiencing you. So with that being said, you, whether you want to understand it or not, are a direct contribution to the next generation of boys and girls that's coming out fucked up because you fucking up the womb mentally and psychologically that they are coming into this world of post reincarnation.
All right. You said a lot of stuff. One, you contradicted something you said earlier. That's why I immediately tried to stand up and say you literally contradicted what you said earlier. Earlier, you said, I talk about black women like this, like that, and like that. You said, white people don't do that. They uplift their woman.
Yeah, white people uplift their woman.
Let me finish. Yeah, you just said, black men used to uplift their woman. The only people who used to degrade their women are white men. And we learned the degradation of black women from the caveman is what you said.
Now listen, you proved my point. You gotta hear what you said. Used to. We talking about, listen, because what I said, I said, do you know what the system that we used to live according to? Used to.
No, I'm saying, but you said that. So wait a minute. Are you saying white men decided, let's uplift our women and teach them to beat their women?
No, white men go home and beat the goddamn shit out their women.
So I'll go back to what you said at the beginning. You said they uplift their women.
I'm saying.
Okay, so now you see what's going back and forth. You see the programming? I want everybody to be aware. He said he was a black man first when Young Pharaoh asked him. Then he said he's white. Twice. Now he's saying white men go home and beat their women. So now the image is, you're going to think, for those that's following Malay, so you mean the ones that look like him. Because he said he's white, the people who follow him. So now I want to go to something real quick here. Where is it here? Okay, we got Tom Joyner, black has no standing at law. Now let's look at this. Free white persons, referring to the Naturalization Act of 1870. It does not mean Caucasian race. So Caucasians are not white, whites are not Caucasian. Now you see, that's why I wanted to play it through, because nobody would believe, like, yeah, now he's saying, because you're following him, so now it's kind of messing, oh, okay, well, white men are this, who go and beat their wives, so now, yeah, we got to stay black. See the programming. Where is that one here? Now, this is the final guidance from the U.S. Department of Education, because later on in the video, he tells young Pharaoh he needs to go to college. So this is final guidance. We're going to have the link in there for everybody to see. And when we go to page 9, this talks about inputting your race and ethnicity. And it says self-identification. Standards call for self-identification of race and ethnicity. Department of Education encourages institutions to allow current students and staff to re-identify their race and ethnicity. So the standard domestically and globally is to identify. You can self-identify. They're not telling you you are. They're asking you.
Like he asked Tommy at the
yes.
almost the 47.
Tommy said he's a black American. Then he comes back and says he's white. So that means, okay, you must know about the SF-181, and you just did that for the show. Then you're like, hold on. And your essence was like, nah, I can't rock with black. I'm white.
Young Pharaoh too.
What did young Pharaoh say? Nothing. Young Pharaoh,
he said, you stepping into my world. So he knows about it too. That's why he asked him to self-identify. So these guys know, and they're just playing games with the public on some entertainment, because that's what most people want.
Exactly. Here's a letter from Rutgers University. And in Rutgers University, this is New Jersey. Right, we're going to have the links there for everybody for this, and people who see this, they'll be able to screenshot this as well. And I'm going to go to the second page of this, because on the second page they say that faculty and staff must self-identify as to race and ethnicity upon hire.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't categorize you. You categorize yourself. So we got the information and the evidence here. This is the iPads. There was another one that I wanted to show. Okay, this is the Office of Personnel Management. They are the ones, this letter came out was 2005. So the Office of Personnel Management revised its standards for the classification of federal data on race and ethnicity in 1997. Because of this revision, the method by which ethnicity and race information is reported to the Office of Personnel Management and the Central Personal Data File has been modified. So again, what do you have to do? Self-identify. And this is signed. So since 2005, they have known that you black people are not black, you are white. But you choose to identify as black.
And if you don't choose, they can make a visual inspection and decide for you.
Visual determination. Yes. And the last thing, racism hyphen leper supremacy. So young Pharaoh, it's not white supremacy, it is leper supremacy. Now this is the correct definition. Race hyphen ism equals leper hyphen supremacy. Leper albinism hyphen supremacy's design purpose is for the genetic survival of leper albinism melanin deficient beings / people, so-called misnomer Caucasian race, misnomer white-skinned people, leper supremacy code, black get back, brown stick around, yellow you are mellow, white you are all right. I'm white, and I'm all right. And this is a great threat you pose to leper genetic survival. Upon examination of the U.S. government, Title 28 U.S.C. Section 3002, it is a federal corporation, equals commercial terms are in use in people's daily lives within the matrix, equals United States / United States of America, and the SF-181 form and integrated post-secondary education data system. In there